Hello everyone, welcome to day 38th of June Lead Code Challenge, and with a lot of proud I can say that we have successfully completed June Lead Code Challenge. Today being the last day, we haven't missed any question, maintaining the consistency going forward. See you in July as well. Without much ado, let's solve the last question of June Lead Code Challenge. Lowest common ancestor of a binary tree. This is a classic interview problem. This question is asked plenty of times as a first step to testify the person's knowledge. If he is able to solve this question, the preliminary step is done, and it is often asked in interviews. So let's try to understand the question. We are given a binary tree and two nodes. We need to tell the lowest common ancestor of those two nodes. Also, it is given to us that those two nodes does exist in the tree, so there are no chances that they are not present in the tree. Without much ado, let's try and understand the question as well as the solution by the presentation that I have created for this, and let's get started. Lowest common ancestor of a binary tree, lead code 236. And let's try and understand the question by an example. In this question, we are given a binary tree, and let's hypothetically assume we want to calculate the lowest common ancestor of 6 and 7. This is a 6 node and this is a 7 node. Would be the lowest common ancestor of these two nodes? It would be 5, this particular node, because this node is lowest in the tree through which both the nodes are reachable. 6 is directly a child of 5, and other one, the 7, is also reachable along this particular path 2 7. So if you are reading this question for the first time, how will you solve this question? What you are going to do, you will try to find out the path of the first node starting from the roots node, which would be nothing but 3 5 6. So I have created a list where I stored the path starting from the root up till the first node in a list 3 5 6. Similarly, we have created a path of 7 node from the root. That would be nothing but 3 5 2 7. Let me just change the color of my pen to highlight that. 3 5 2 7, which again I have stored in a list. Lowest common ancestor will be the farthest nodes in both the lists that is common. For example, 3 and 5 both are common in these two paths. We will consider the node which is farthest from the root, the one that is ending towards the end of the list. So we get the answer as 5. 5 becomes the lowest common ancestor of 6 and 7. What would be the time complexity of this approach? The time complexity would be pretty straightforward, order of n for storing the path of each node. Also, you will require some extra space because you have to store the path starting from the root up till the node that you are searching for, which again may take a lot of space of order of n complexity. We want to reduce that, and we want to provide a space optimized approach. So without much ado, let's look at the space optimized approach. The algorithm is divided into 4 simple steps. The first check being a safety check. If root value turns out to be equal to null, we simply return null or root. Or root turns out to be equal to P or Q, the node that we are searching for, we simply return that root. Otherwise, we will go and check in its left child and search for its left lowest common ancestor. Similarly, we go in the right direction, we check for the right lowest common ancestor. If both of them happens to be non-null, we simply return the root value. Otherwise, we check whether the left value is not null, we simply return left node. Otherwise, if right value is not null, we simply return the right lowest common ancestor. And if none of the case is met, we simply return null. Please assume this to be the pseudo code. I'll talk you through the validity of this code. How is this working and why is this working? Also, there is one important point that you will always find an answer in the tree, and at max, in the worst case, root will be that node, because you can take any two nodes, root will be the lowest common ancestor in the worst case. So let's try and understand the validity of this algorithm. let's consider the same example. The route that is passed to us is 3, and the two nodes that we want to search, their lowest common ancestor is 6, 7. Now what we are going to check, we'll check whether 6 node is equal to the 3 node. It's not. Is 7 node equal to the 3 node? It's not. The first condition is not met. We will go and search in both the directions of the current route. The first one here, the second one here. We'll go left first, then we'll move right. So let's go left, and here the route will be updated to 5. So the parameters still remain, the other two parameters still remains the same, 5, 6, 7. And again we are going to check whether 5 turns out to be equal to 6 or 5 turns out to be equal to 7 node. None of the conditions are met, it's not equal. We again have to split in two directions. We'll again split in two directions, and here 6 will be passed, route will be updated to 6 in the left direction, and in the right direction it will be updated to 2. What you will observe here is 6 turns out to be equal to the 6th node that we are searching for. We'll abort that process from here, and we simply return 6 as the valid left common ancestor. So we get left value as 6 here. Just store this, just hold on here. Let's try and iterate in the right direction as well. So while invoking in the right direction, what parameters would be passed? 2, 6, 7. Is 2 equal to 6? No. Is 2 equal to 7? No. We again have to perform the split operation, and down this path 7 node will be passed, 6, 7. It's again a happy case. 7 turns out to be equal to 7, and we will abort that process. So this would return 7. Let's move in the right direction as well. 4, 6 and 7 would be passed, and 4 is not equal to 6, 4 is not equal to 7. Again we'll move in two directions, and we'll pass null, 6, 7. We'll abort the process since the root value has turned up equal to null. Similarly, we'll pass null, 6, 7 again. We'll abort the process, and null will be returned from these two nodes. So from here null will be returned. Since the value that is returned here is null, again null will go back upstairs. So from the right of 2 you get null, and from the left of 2 you get 7. You will pick the one which is not null. Left is not null, so this call stack will return 7. This call stack will return 7. So 5 is that node where its right stack is returning 7, its left stack is returning 6, both of them being null, and that is a node which turns out to be the lowest common ancestor, because there will be only one such node in the entire tree. So this would return 5 back, because both the nodes were not null, and in that case we simply return the root's value. Wherever you find out that its left part has returned not null value, its right part has returned not null value, you simply return the node's value at that point, as a result of which 5 would be returned from here. Similarly, let's talk about what value will be returned from its right traversal of 3's node. So during the right traversal, 1, 6, 7 would be passed. 1 is not equal to 6, 1 is not equal to 7. Again we have to perform the split operation, and 0, 6, 7 will be invoked, and again we'll go in two directions, left and right, because 0 is not equal to 6, 0 is not equal to 7. Both the nodes are null, so null will be returned from here. So we'll have null here. Again we'll move in the right direction, 8, 6, 7, and again null will be returned from here. Both the right child and the left child returns null, null will be returned back. and at 3, what is the condition? The right subtree is returning null, the left subtree is returning 5. The answer would be the one which is non-null in nature, which is nothing but 5. But the crux of the problem lies in finding the node where the left child and the right child is not returning null, which is nothing but, in this case, is 5. I hope you understood this algorithm, and without much ado, let's look at the coding section now. I have written exactly the same steps that I showed in the slideshow. We first gonna check whether root is equal to null or root turns out to be equal to p or q. In that case, we simply return the root value. Otherwise, we go and check for its left common ancestor, the right common ancestor, and in case both of them are not null, we simply return the root's value. Otherwise, we return if the left common ancestor was not null, we simply return the left common ancestor. We check right common ancestor was not null, we simply return the right common ancestor. In the end, as a default case, we return a null value. Let's try this out. Accepted. I hope you enjoyed today's session. If you did, please don't forget to like, share and subscribe to the channel. Thanks for viewing it. Have a great day ahead.